Class, we are at chapter 13 now, the book of Revelation. Verse 1. And the dragon stood on the sand of the seashore. Then I saw a beast coming up out of the sea, having 10 horns and 7 heads, and on his horns were 10 diadems, and on his heads were blasphemous names. And the beast which I saw was like a leopard, and its feet were like those of a bear, and its mouth like the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power and his throne and great authority. I saw one of his heads as if it had been slain, and his fatal wound was healed, and the whole earth was amazed and followed after the beast. The dragon, evil schemes, and this is Satan, of course, intensify because he knows that his time is short. He's been cast out of heaven. John watches as a beast comes up out of the sea and notes that the beast has 10 horns and 7 heads and 10 crowns on his horns. He further notes that each head has a blasphemous name. Then John notes that his beast has characteristics similar to the first 3 beasts mentioned in Daniel 7. In some ways, the beast resembled a leopard, but he had feet like a bear, and the devastation and the devastated mouth like a lion. The source of the beast's power and authority was bestowed on it by the dragon, Satan himself. In addition, one of the heads of the beast received a fatal wound, but this had somehow been healed. So the beast miraculously healed. This suggests a deliberate imitation of Christ's death, burial, and resurrection. The response of mankind is to worship the beast. Daniel 7 helps with the interpretation of the 10 horns. There, Daniel is instructed that these 10 horns represent 10 kingdoms, which make up the power of the beast, that is, the Antichrist. This kingdom coalition is now also a part of John's perspective. John notes that each of the horns carries a crown, diadema, that is, a kingly crown. The book of Revelation gives no insight into the identity of the 10 kingdoms. The nature and the purpose of this 7-headed, 10-horned beast out of the sea are made apparent by the fact that each head has ascribed to him a name of blasphemy. The concept of blasphemy is active repugnance and open opposition to the Creator God. Thus, the motives and intentions of each of these 10 kingdoms are explicitly noted. Identifying the 7 heads is dependent to some degree on Revelation 17, verses 9 through 11, which we have not arrived at yet. The scarlet woman rides on this beast from the sea, and the 7 heads are specifically stated to be 7 kings ruling over 7 kingdoms. So Revelation 17 does help us with this. The 7 heads represent the 7 forms of government from which have characterized the empire in history. Empire of Egypt, Assyria, Babylon, Medes and Persians, Greece and Rome, and the final empire of the last days. One should conclude that the head ruined to the point of death, but then living again, was the 6th and greatest of these empires, Rome. Like all other empires, Rome eventually expired, but the evidence in chapters 13 and 17 points to a resuscitation of that empire in the person of the Antichrist in the last days. Because of the wound to the beast, which had clearly been fatal and yet was now healed, the whole world is astonished and follows the beast. Look at verse number 4. They worship the dragon because he gave his authority to the beast, and they worship the beast, saying, "Who is like the beast, and who is able to wage war with him?" There was given to him a mouth, speaking arrogant words and blasphemies, and authority to act for 42 months was given to him. And he opened his mouth in blasphemies against God, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle, that is, those who dwell in heaven. It was also given to him to make war with the saints and to overcome them, and authority over every tribe and people and tongue and nation was given to him. The bullets tell us men intuitively know that the beast, that is, the Antichrist, embodies something more than what is natural. Therefore, they worship the dragon because he has authority, given authority to the beast. So both the beast and the dragon become the object of worship in the last half of the tribulation. 42 months are allotted for the beast to utter his words of blasphemy and to exercise authority. The blasphemy uttered by the beast is not only against the person of God, but even God's dwelling place in heaven and those who are associated with him in that presence. As for the saints who remain on the earth, the text says the beast was given power to make war against the saints and to conquer them. Without doubt, the dragon lies behind the power to make war with the saints, but God in his wisdom allows it for the moment. Verse 8, all who dwell on the earth will worship him. Everyone whose name was not written from the foundation of the world in the book of life of the Lamb who has been slain. If anyone has an ear, let him hear. If anyone is destined for captivity, to captivity he goes. If anyone kills with a sword he must be killed. Here is the perseverance and the faith of the saints. All the inhabitants of the earth end up worshiping the beasts, including all those whose names have not been written in the Lamb's Book of Life. The presence of one's name in the Book of Life is the one factor that provides an exemption from the expression, all the inhabitants of the earth will worship the beast from the sea. Many of those whose names are in fact inscribed in that book will die a martyr's death. Two fates await the saints during the last half of the tribulation period. Some will be taken into captivity. Others are to be killed with sword. In light of these inevitabilities, the saints must prepare themselves to exercise patient endurance and faithfulness to God regardless of these circumstances. Verse 11. Then I saw another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spoke as a dragon. He exercises all the authority of the first beast in his presence, and he makes the earth and those who dwell in it to worship the first beast, whose fatal wound was healed. He performs great signs, so that he even makes fire come down out of heaven to the earth in the presence of men. And he deceives those who dwell on the earth because of the signs which it was given him to perform in the presence of the beast, telling those who dwell on the earth to make an image to the beast who had the wound of the sword and has come to life. The second beast, John observes here, we're looking at the bullets now, arises out of the earth and not the sea. The text indicates that he is not what he seems to be. He has two horns like a lamb, but when he speaks, his speech betrays him, and he sounds like a dragon. The second beast from the earth is the false prophet. He exercises the authority of the first beast, who is the Antichrist, as a mediator to the people, and is specifically involved in causing the earth and its inhabitants to worship the first beast whose wound had been healed. In order to achieve this feat, the false prophet is able to perform great miracles and signs, even to the extent of causing fire to come down from heaven to earth in the full view of men. The ability to employ these signs and wonders is stated for the purpose of deceiving those who live on the earth. Verse 14. And here we see, we'll end up this lecture, the Unholy Trinity. Look at verse 14. And he deceives, and now we're talking about he is referring to the false prophet, this beast, the second beast that came up out of the land. He deceives those who dwell on the earth because of the signs which it was given him to perform in the presence of the first beast the Antichrist, telling those who dwell on the earth to make an image to the beast, who had the wound of the sword and has come to life. And it was given to him to give breath to the image of the beast, so that the image of the beast would even speak and cause as many as do not worship the image of the beast to be killed. And he causes all, the small and the great and the rich and the poor and the free men and the slaves, to be given a mark on their right hand or on their forehead. And he provides that no one will be able to buy or to sell except the one who has the mark, either the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him who has understanding calculate the number of the beast, for the number is that of a man, and his number is 666. And look at the bullets. The next act of the second beast, that is the false prophet, is full-fledged idolatry. The false prophet orders that an image in honor of the first beast, the Antichrist, should be set up. The image seems to take on life and speak and even mandate death for all who refuse to worship the image. In addition, economic measures are taken, mandating that everyone receive a mark on his right hand or on his forehead. Its purpose is to restrict economic exchange for those who do not invoke the name of the beast or the number of his name. For those who have wisdom will note and calculate the number of the beast and discover that it is the number of a man, 666. The unholy Trinity of the dragon, who is Satan, the first beast from the sea, who is the Antichrist, and the second beast from the earth, who is the false prophet, are now fully revealed. And that will end this lecture on chapter 13.